Hey, it's the Camp Show.
Yeah.
Rogue Media.
Look at that. Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday. You heard it here first. Over the Boston Celtics are back.
What are you going to do without suffering, though?
Oh, suffering makes me who I am, Mike.
Okay.
It really does.
Like a rock.
I honestly, I am a top 10 complainer in the world.
Like a rock in a stream.
Sure.
You know, it just carves you. It forms you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm.
You're pretty good at it. Yeah, you're pretty good at it.
I like to keep it mostly reasonable. Is that fair?
I like a good bitching too, though. You know, I mean, yeah. Anyway. Old man yells at cloud kind of thing.
As well, but the Celtics back out there. They raised the banner. At least that's what I think. That's what I've been told. They raised the banner last night. They got their rings, and then they just pummeled the New York Knicks. Supposedly the second best team in the NBA, making all these moves in the summer. They retooled their whole team in the summer just to get closer to the Celtics. And then I'm listening halfway through the first game against the Celtics. The broadcast is saying, boy, where would this Knicks team be without Miles McBride? Like that is an A-OK, A+ on your summer reading project, New York Knicks. 132 to 109, and it wasn't even that close. And, of course, I am burying the lead here because what we saw in that game is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on a basketball court. And I don't know what's more impressive, the Celtics shooting through the first three quarters or their shooting in the fourth quarter. Because as you probably know by now, the Celtics tied the NBA record for most three-pointers in a game. They tied it with 9.5 minutes left and then missed their last 13 threes to end the game. That is almost impossible. That is almost impossibly bad. In fact, the stat that was brought up post-game was the percentage of them breaking that record once they got to 29 with 9.5 minutes left. They had a 99.7% chance, the way they were shooting, to break that record. What you saw was historic last night. It's funny, I was on a FaceTime with Grace, and so it was kind of the end of the game, so I'm watching it on mute, and like every time the Celtics get the ball, they're showing people in the stands like with their phones out about to record something, and every time they shoot, like the fans are standing up. I'm like, they're up by 30 points. What is this? Like, I know beating the Knicks is awesome, but they're what? And I'm like, oh my God, they've got to be about to break a record. Like they have to be. Most three-pointers, I'm guessing, because they keep shooting threes. And then I watched like the last 3 minutes, and they're shooting every time down, man. Pritchard, Hauser, Tillman, Walsh, like they're all taking them, and an almost impossible stretch of 13 missed threes to end the game. I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen anything like that. A team that shot that well through three quarters, just blowing it in the fourth. Obviously, it doesn't matter in terms of the final score. It's the only quarter that the Knicks won, by the way. They were even in the second quarter, 31 apiece, and they won the fourth quarter, 22-19. They lost by 23 points. The Celtics, a team with the most 20-point victories, and I think most 20-point leads of anyone in NBA history last year, only took them 11 minutes to get their first one in 2024-25. Man, what a day. What a day to be a Boston Celtics fan, because they look just as scary as they did last year. And yes, it is one game, but 82-0 is still on the table. People forget that. 82-0 is still on the table for your Boston Celtics.
I didn't forget that.
You got that penciled in?
I've told you that 100 times. 82-0 until you're not.
I mean, true. That is true. And it's almost as if they were one of the best teams in NBA history last year and just like rolled through the postseason, and then they brought their whole team back. It's almost as if that were the case. Good luck, everybody else. I mean, goodness me. The only fun the Knicks had last night was, I'm guessing, the Knicks fans watching Shabuzi. That was really the highlight of the night for me. The game was cool. I'm glad that they played the game, but really Shabuzi out there in City Hall Plaza is a great way to kick off the season. By the way, Mike, have you ever seen City Hall in Boston?
Never seen City Hall in Boston, no, and I've never seen Shabuzi, and I feel empty inside.
Boston City Hall, I think, is a great bit. And what I mean by that is Boston is a beautiful city. It's historic, old. They've really taken care of it, specifically the last couple of decades, in terms of, get some greenery, get some trees out there. It's a beautiful town.
It's been there for a while, huh?
And then in the middle of it, yeah, it's been around. And then in the middle of it is quite literally the ugliest building in the history of the world as their city hall. It's so, and it's now a joke. It's like the ugliest city hall in America. And it's just so funny, like that's in kind of the centerpiece of this great American city. It's just this dog shit city hall.
What does it make it so? Why is it so ugly? I don't
You want to
understand.
look up a picture of it. It's just like it's very. You'll be like, oh yeah, this was built in the 70s. You'll understand. It's just a cement slab that's featured prominently in The Departed. By the
Are
way,
we talking about this one? The one that's all shaped like a ancient Egyptian.
yes,
whatever?
yes. It looks like
Yeah.
a massive parking garage.
Oh yeah, that's terrible looking.
It's awful.
Oh.
It's awful.
I say burn Boston down. I mean,
Well,
oh, you're saying the rest of it's okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The rest of it's
Sorry.
pretty great,
Sorry.
man. Pretty great. In fact, it's the only place in the country, Mike, where you can do what I'm about to describe. Because in the center of Boston, they have this very old cemetery, like 400 years old. Some very famous people are buried there, including John Hancock and Samuel Adams. And across the street from it is the oldest bar in the United States. So it's the only place you can have a cold Sam Adams while looking at a cold Sam Adams. Thank you. Thank you. Say what you will.
I was
Zach
just happy
didn't do
I
that
hit the
for
right
me.
button.
Yeah, me too. That was pretty quick. I'm excited about that. Back to the Celtics, who were not cold. They were pretty hot throughout this game. They still shot it an incredible amount from three. What was the percent? They still shot it 48% from three. They missed their last 13. And it was Tatum from the beginning, by the way. We talked about that jump shot he was working on in the summer. And I said, if he gets back up to 40% from three, which he's done before, if Jason Tatum gets back to 40% from three, he is undoubtedly a top 3 player in the league. Undoubtedly. And all he does last night in 30 minutes is give you 37 points, 14 of 18 from the floor, and 8 of 11 from three. 8 of 11. He needs to be shooting more than 2 free throws. In fact, the Celtics barely shot any free throws the whole night. I think they shot 8 the whole night. Yes, 7 of 8. So he does need to get to the line more because that's what I thought, something that he really added to his game last year. But I'll take 37 points on 8 of 11 from 3, 4 rebounds and 10 assists, and a plus 26 on opening night against what is supposedly the second best team in the league. By the way, we read that letter yesterday, Mike. You remember that?
I do remember that.
The husband to his wife. Do you think she's left him?
I don't think she did because I think she's a big fan as well.
Mm.
Otherwise, I'm not sure how that marriage stays together.
And it's not even like, oh, he's so rude. It's just like, really? This is the team he gets behind? This is it? This is the team he's been hyping up to me the whole year, the whole summer, about how this is finally going to be their year. This is the team, the Knicks. Brutal, mate.
Yeah, that's it. It seems like one of those murder-suicide situations.
Probably. Karl Anthony Towns gave you 12 points. How about that? 12 points, 7 rebounds, a crisp minus 18. How about your other big-time acquisition, New York? Mikal Bridges, 2 of 7 from 3. Broken jump shot, 16 points, minus 33. Minus 33. A great tribute to Larry Bird. Their only plus players out there were something called Huckporty, Tyler Kolek, and something called P. Dadiet.
P. Diddy?
It's just some scrubs who came in at the end of the game when the Celtics were just trying and missing every single three. And then the Celtics, by the way, they missed 13 straight threes to end the game. And their last possession, they just dribbled it out. They just dribbled out the clock. And the fans were like booing. They were ready for history for this whole time. They probably paid like $1,000 just to get in to see the banner raising ceremony. And they're like, oh, we could see NBA history as well. And Joe Mazzulla was basically telling his team, like, you had your chances. Now let's dribble it out and get to the end of this thing and not show up this second best team in the NBA. Thankfully, the Celtics dribble it out and show some mercy against the second best team in the NBA. Yeah, man. Obviously a great ceremony beforehand. They gave out the rings. It was great. Jason Tatum had a few words to say, which really got the crowd hyped before this one.
Woo. Man, man, this is special. Honestly, man, on behalf of me, my teammates, the organization, we couldn't have did it without you last year. So let's enjoy this moment together. I can honestly say, to the best fans in the world, let's do it again.
Yeah. Yes. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, Jason. I can already feel the Twitter fingers. Man, people must have been punching air. Oh, this dude is so corny. He's so corny. He's overrated and corny ass. That went dumb. That was tough.
If there were still ringtones, that would be your ringtone. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Just over and over and over.
Yes. Dude, that was tough. He put it out there on the line. Let's do it again. And all he did was go in there and back it up with 37 points and 8 of 11 3-point shooting. Again, if he has figured out the 3-point shot again, which he used to have and has gone away the last couple of years, look out, NBA. If he gets his money right from 3, look out. He and Brown, if they become 40% 3-point shooters, which is very good for, guys who are that good and everything else, they're both top 6 or 7 players in the league.
It's a formidable group.
It's a good group. It's a good team.
Formidable group.
I think this Celtics team is okay.
I think this Celtics team is better than your last champion Celtics team.
Like last year?
No. I mean, the last championship you won.
They're all in their prime or more in their prime.
That's what I'm saying. I think because you have more promise with this thing going forward, this team is better.
How about Ray Allen was there last night? Ray Allen, Garnett, and Pierce all out together like they're friends again. Love that. I love that, man.
Yeah.
They're friends again, Mike.
Yeah, I get it.
It's great. It's great.
It's like that time on Rugrats when all the babies hugged each other.
Yeah. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's just what it was like, man. Shit. Oh, great night. Bob Cousy was out there in the wheelchair, 96 years old, throwing up the peace sign, just dunking on everybody else, It was not, and I guess this has to do with kind of more of the 60s guys dying out, but like there were only a couple of legends there that were on the court. I think it was just Kuz, Cedric Maxwell, and then the big three there, Garnett, Ray Allen, and Pierce.
Well, you've lost a lot of guys.
Yeah. No more Russell, no more the two Joneses. Larry Bird will never show up. You can't pay him enough money to show up to a public event. I saw Robert Parrish at Game 4 here in Dallas. Surprised he wasn't there, but I don't know. You don't need to overdo it. Havlicek's gone. He carried out the trophy the last time they did the banner raising ceremony. Liked those jackets they had, gold jackets or white and gold, and it's got all the championships down the sleeve. I could have done with some green on it. Literally no green on it at all. And here is the team that's most synonymous with the color of any team in the world.
What if you just open the jacket and it's green all inside?
That could be something.
That'd be pretty flashy.
I think they sold them for like $300 or something, but I didn't get one. I did not get one. And I
Christmas
was
is
so
coming.
I had done
Christmas is-
so much planning. My nights are typically busy. I did so much planning on Monday night to make sure I had everything done so that I could go home from work right at 6 Central Time, which is when the ceremony started. And I wanted to see this ceremony. I wanted to see the ceremony, and I wanted to see them raise the banner. That's really what I wanted to see. TNT had other ideas because this was the nation's view of the 2024 World Championship banner raising ceremony in Boston. Like, what is that? What is that? Are you kidding me? Like, are you actually kidding me? Oh, good thing I got to see, Steve Paliuca, the co-owner, pick up his championship ring, but I don't get to see the banner go up. This is why you're losing, TNT. I used to like you, but you don't deserve this league after that. What is that? That's like the whole reason for the ceremony. We can't even see the rings. Honestly, if you have to cut something out, I'd so much rather you cut out the ring, giving them the rings because we can't see them. We want to see the championship banner get raised up, and then I get some stupid DoorDash commercial. Like, what is that? Like, I was very angry about that last night.
This is
man.
nothing new in professional sports, though. Televised
guess.
professional sports. I mean, because I had to watch a game one time on NBA TV where it was like
I'm sorry for that.
where it was four guys that had played in the league. They're sitting in leather chairs watching the game I'm trying to watch on a screen, and most of the time the cameras are on these guys just talking about memories and smoking cigars.
Hell
What
yeah.
what did I stumble into?
Hell yeah.
That was the only way to watch the game.
I'd rather watch it in Spanish.
I'd rather watch it.
It's nothing
have
against
my
Spanish,
friend
I just
draw
don't know it.
pictures. I'd rather watch that. It was rough.
And like, okay, I understand. Like, I've worked in TV. Like, you've got commercials you gotta hit. You got times you gotta hit. But this is a live broadcast, and they know for a basketball game that you don't have times you can hit like a newscast, right? You have certain timeouts in the game where you do it, but it's not going to be the same time all the time, like time on the clock. And so I guess that's what they were doing. They were just like, we need to hit this break. And it's like, but you're about to do a basketball game. Just don't sell ad spots with the same frequency that you would for any TV show. Oh, but I did get to see Shabuzi, to see that whole Shabuzi performance, which was cool. Apparently, country singer.
I like how I knew the thing had started because I got a text from you, just a picture of Shabuzi.
That was the highlight. The basketball game was cool, but really it was the Shabuzi concert that I was into in the world's ugliest City Hall Plaza.
Well, I think we've decided to use Shabuzi as a verb now, correct?
Yes.
Did we decide
more
that
or
last
less.
night? Yeah.
More or less.
Oh no, I've been Shabuzied. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Have a Shabuzi day.
Have a Shabuzi.
Which that's a noun right there.
Yeah. Well, it's an adjective, I guess.
Shabuzi,
right?
yeah, maybe that's better.
Shabuzi can be slippery.
How can Shabuzi be an onomatopoeia? That's what I want to know.
Shabuzi.
Exactly.
There it is. I did it.
And after the game, we talked with Greeny yesterday about Joe Mazzulla. I can't get enough of him until if and when he ever starts losing. I can't get enough of him, man. I mean, I think he's actually a genius who also knows how to handle the modern NBA player, and he's an absolute psychopath. So he's also a big Celtics guy. So Mazzulla gets called out there for his ring, and he gets down on all fours and he kisses the court, the parquet floor, before he goes out and gets the ring. And so he's asked after the game, they say, what did the floor taste like? And he says, like blood. Or at least I wish it did. And I was like, that's the most insane thing he said. Like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are entering into their peak years, and I think the Joe Mazzulla psycho quotes are also reaching their peak. This is we have not seen basketball / psycho quotes on this level in NBA history. Like, it's at least I wish I did. Why did you wish it did? Why do you wish it tasted like blood? What? Are we going to ask some questions? Man, if Joe Mazzulla has bodies in the basement, this will be the red flag that they'll point to and say, why didn't we start here? What a guy, man.
He
What
was
a
always
coach.
so quiet. He just kept to himself.
Yeah. The neighbors, they loved him.
The neighbors loved him.
Yeah.
And then he licked that court.
So it needed to taste like blood. And then I started smelling stuff from the basement. You know, it was like the only killer they didn't say that about, like the neighbors loved him, was this guy from Milwaukee who was eating people. Dahmer, yeah. Everyone was like, yeah, we could have saw that coming. All his neighbors were like, it smelled like ass over there. He was very weird, and people would come in and then not leave.
Yeah, it was odd.
But other than that, I don't think there's anything to say he would have been a serial killer.
But he always had a nice stew going.
Yeah, I was going to say. He kept offering us stew. It's weird. It had a little kick to it. Like, there could have been someone who moved into his apartment complex that got like a nice housewarming gift, and it was stew, and he just ate someone's body.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That could have happened. This is what happens. We start innocently talking about a Celtics game. Joe Mazzulla gets brought into the conversation, and then bam, we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer's neighbors eating people that he killed.
Keep your lips
It's
off the
just
floor.
like Mazzulla would like, I think. What a guy. What a team, man. 132 to 109. 82-0. It's still on the table. They got Washington tomorrow.
Oh. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, what a hapless franchise Washington is. So one more quick thing, because I gotta get to Bruins in the second segment. But
God, I wish they would steal the Bullets.
It's a better name.
He was even spelled wrong. What's wrong with it?
I don't know. Stupid. DC's not a good sports town. And who gives a shit about the Wizards, man? What a terrible franchise. Like, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for people in that area who want to grow up rooting for their local basketball team. And it's like, what are you going to do? They're the Wizards. And I saw someone make a point yesterday that was like, there's more like championship headline kind of players around the league than there probably ever has been. You know what I mean? Like, with obviously the core with the Celtics, but you still got like Golden State still got Curry, and they're not very good anymore, right? Or the Knicks, who are trying to knock on the door, they got one. Philly's got one. Miami's got one. Denver's got one. You know what I mean? So it's all over the place. And it used to be just like really 3 or 4 or 5 teams could have that. Now there's like 10, 8 or 10. And still, there are more hapless franchises than there's ever been because of how teams tank. Washington would be a great example. Charlotte's an example. New Orleans was an example and could be in a couple years. Again, you know what I mean? Sacramento used to be one for years. Portland is one. They're all over the place now, maybe more than there ever has been because of tanking and teams like the Spurs who tank and it works. Twice.
That's what
generationally. 3 times.
That's what we do, baby.
3 times, man. And it works. Oklahoma City worked. Philly, to some extent, worked. If Oklahoma City worked, we got to say Philly worked, right? They've made it the same amount, or they've made it just as far. So, anyway, Celtics, best basketball team on the planet.
Some of these teams have to rebuild an entire culture before they can do anything, though. You know, like when you're talking about Philadelphia, and I know Pete's here, but
Pete is here.
Their culture was like through the floor, you know, and now they've rebuilt this winning culture there, and so hopefully they're able to add to that.
That's
not
good
for
analysis.
you, but
it's good analysis. Right? It's good stuff. The Bulls, they suck. You want to hear my sob story of the day? Actually, before we get into this break, the Celtics go. So Grace now lives in Chicago, and I will be living in Chicago in a few months. And yet the Celtics only go to Chicago this year before I move there. And Grace is doing Thanksgiving with her family in Chicago and invited me to it. And I was like, I can't go because we've got a Baylor football game on that Saturday at home that I have to do the pregame show for. And it's like Baylor has stunk this year. They're playing Kansas, who also really sucks. And it's like the one time the Celtics go to Chicago is on Black Friday. Like it could have been great. We could have all gone to it. Instead, I can't because I got to do it. It's tough being me. It's really tough being me.